All right, so here we are in Greenhaven. We've done one episode here with Adam.
Yeah.
You haven't met this wonderful guy. This is Ryan, good friend. Has become a really good friend. The genesis of our relationship was like we met at a potluck, I think. But we would kind of like get together in this tiny little room, we're squished in here right now with cables everywhere, and just talk about ideas because we're all super creative. And this would be our kind of like creative hot box where we would talk about ideas and see what sticks.
And is that what we're going to do tonight?
Turns out not much of it stuck.
The idea was a podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, Adam and I were talking yesterday or day before and just talking about some struggles, and we thought, pause, let's just talk about it in a podcast. And
yeah, from here on out, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
All our meetings, everything we do, podcast form.
Even when you and your wife have a discrepancy, it's like, it's podcast.
Yeah.
We'll talk it through on the podcast.
Real life,
carries more
reality,
weight. Yeah.
Reality podcast, TV.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time. I find that, I mean, we're episode 16, this will be. And aside from all the chaos of trying to set it up and get things working, it's like really nice to have like an hour and a half or two, whatever it might be, focused on just, and the headphones kind of get everything else out, and you're just like, it's a rich time.
Weed it out.
Yeah. I think that there is something that ties the three of us together in, there's lots of things really, just like life and working with our hands and creative, but this kind of like creativity that flows through that sometimes brings up angst and frustration and what am I doing with my life kind of questions.
But yeah, totally. It's I think that's a common thread.
Yeah,
I think we kind of definitely relate.
I mean, you're so different, but so much the same. Like I came over the other day, and Adam's like, "Yeah, I just wrote an app last night." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, talking is one thing, and action is.
Yeah, I'm an action guy, but like Adam's ability to be able to like work with like AI and all of that, like I got zero time for that, zero patience, zero skills to like, go down that rabbit hole. Like I'm much more tactile, which you are as well, but that's a strength you definitely have that I don't.
Yeah, well, I spent most of my early 20s in that realm of technology, studying visual arts, digital animations.
Right.
I had a lot of frustrating hours sitting in front of the computer with mild insomnia, just like until I started actually
until
working.
You realize blue light is the thing that keeps you awake.
yeah. And then I started working with my hands and more like as a primary thing, and definitely it's better for my actual physical makeup than being on a computer. It's like I was kind of going against my natural, like my body's like actual
mode.
Yeah.
God-given mode. Yeah, it feels like, I mean, maybe for some people, like writing code is actually cathartic. And they feel a sense of completion and like, but for me, like even trying to figure out how to get 3 people on a podcast to me was draining my batteries. Whereas working on a project with my hands, it does tire my body out, but it charges my batteries. It's like this, you know what I mean? And I feel like when I'm doing anything tech-based or website or even posting on Instagram or something like that, I can feel my battery starts to like down.
Yeah. I've got a bit of capacity in that sense, but I definitely can relate to that as well.
Yeah.
And I think too with the hands-on, you can see these like immediate results. Like it's right there in front of you. It's fueling the next step. Some of the tech stuff is a bit kind of out there for a while, and then it starts to find itself into, maybe it's the editing part, and then you start to see the fruits of it. But the hands-on definitely has that.
Right.
immediate kind of reward, if you will. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Does tech do you like?
I've got a kind of one of those relationships as well. Like it's like I like it when it's working and when it has that sort of tangibility, but when I know it enough and there's a bit of confidence, I'm like, okay, I'm jazzed. This is good. But when it's newer or when it's really kind of hard for me to feel into it, make something of it, then I get frustrated pretty quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to watch these. They're pretty... We're taking off!
I'm not nervous.
Not at all.
Let's get the shakes out. It's like when I'm watching TV, my hands are always right.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have that?
Sometimes.
I don't even know I'm doing it.
Yeah.
When my back was broken, I was on the couch for 3 days, or 5 days, just 10 days. It's like, that's where my hands are, man.
Modern Al Bundy.
It's like, there's like this like comfort.
Interesting.
You don't have that?
Not particularly.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Daughter would be like, Dad! And I'm like, oh, it's not like I'm not playing pocket pool down
You
there.
just got to have somewhere where
it's just warm and even like when I sleep, my hands are often there, but my feet are always crossed.
There's some comfort in that.
Yeah. You know, my folks get lonely down there.
a little company.
Need a little company.
Extra digits.
So, grappling with this, like I was talking to you the other day and I was like, I don't know, this is a midlife crisis or like, I feel like my life, I don't know how I haven't hung out with you for a little bit, but, I feel like my life is at this place where the things that used to satisfy me just don't anymore. And my radar is just like, ting, ting, you know, just looking. And I don't know if that's something that I should run after or if it's something I should shut down and just like be satisfied with what, you know, there's this tension between having to provide food for your family and a roof over your head. And then you hear these entrepreneurial success stories where they say, find out something you love to do and figure out a way to make money doing it. For me, I feel like those two are just like not connecting. And I feel like, when I'm working on the farm, it numbs me out from that. Like to me, my work, physical work, is like my cocaine. If you're an addict, like it's actually quite difficult for me to do things in my business when I feel the pull of outside. It's like an alcoholic having a beer on the counter. Like it really pulls me, and I have to like sometimes like because I just want to be outside, and it just takes all of that angst away. Do you find that?
Yeah. As long as I have a clear direction of, sometimes that's like what kind of gives me a bit of paralysis, even when I'm out and about. It's just the overwhelm of
50,000 things that you're doing.
Like I go to do one thing and I see like 5 different things, and then I try to address one of them, and then I'm like this kid's book that I read to my kids. If you give a mouse a cookie, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it just one thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing, leads to another thing.
Yeah.
And it just, I just find myself, ending up 10 steps from where I set out.
I remember you telling me one day, just go rake the driveway. That's all I can do right now.
The chop wood, carry water concept. Just do the thing, finish the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like finishing what you start. I think there's a creative sort of there's a gap in some creativity where
But I guess what comes to me first when I like upon this, reflecting upon what you're saying is like, what if there's like these plateaus of mastery, you know, like that you have to kind of like find that you end up hitting with anything. Where it just kind of is like, it's just like there's the original excitement isn't there. I wonder how much of that plays a part in these places where we get to, or that like there's just the things that he kind of once did, you know, there's not that much joy in them anymore. Or I can relate with a lot of things that I do as well. It's like, I did that for a while and now I'm ready for something different. But
like I know athletes, when I've heard athletes talk about they reach these like plateau, these mountaintop moments. Like all I ever wanted to do was get to the Olympics. You have to pull your mic up. It's just slowly sagging down. You have to maybe tighten that wrench on the side, like really reef on it.
Got one over there.
Yeah, the one on the side. That's that one. This one, yeah. Just give it a good old beauty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, and then they kind of plateau, and there's like, I've done that, and then there's a sense of like complete letdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to be, okay, now the new challenge is to, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be much, like I feel like I'm crazy. Like I'm trying to like feel my way in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no book that I don't know, maybe there is a book. There probably is a book. But,
there's a podcast for sure.
There's a podcast. It's a shitty place to be, probably no matter what your vocation is in life when you reach a plateau.
Yeah.
It's like, I've heard moms talk about it when they've had kids and their kids all leave and then they're just like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I can relate to this in the sense that, like, I at times have referred to myself as a serial hobbyist. Like, I'm just like, I have a lot of hobbies that I take interest in and I'm curious about, and I start feeling like I'm doing well at something, and then I'm like, oh, I got that sort of, you know, moderately figured out. That was fun. What's next? I love the process of learning, going through the process of, you know, the curiosity, the initial curiosity, then finding maybe somebody to glean this off or mentorship or something like that, and start picking up all the skills and then running with it a bit, and then this plateau eventually starts to occur where I'm like, oh, what's around the corner? What's next? You know? So that, I think that feathers into the.
It seems to me like you are, from what I know, getting to know is like you're like, you find a skill and you just go, you want to really perfect it.
Well, with the trade that I'm in, that's the one constant I could say has been in my whole, since I was 14, is the craft, the woodwork, the carpentry craft. So that's the main constant that's been, but all these other things have been kind of like a different wave signal of highs, lows. You know, I won't pick up the guitar for half a year or something, and then when I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I got to do this more. I do it for a few weeks, and then I don't pick it up for another 4 months. You know that. So that's kind of like this effect that I have on, you know, this micro plateaus, but there are a few constants, which I'm proud to say I have a few constants. That's
and then when kids come along, you'll never pick up the guitar again. But then you'll have new, you know, kids do change everything. But it sounds like we got a visitor.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of kids,
Yeah.
well, hello.
I need the charger for the iPad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can take that. Joby, mind pass me this guy.
this one,
Yeah,
the whole thing.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Turn around and say hello to the camera. What's your name? Are you going to say hello to the camera?
This camera here.
Look there.
June, look.
June.
Up there.
Hey. Look at that handsome man. That's June.
All right, here you guys.
Showmanship right there.
Well, thanks for stopping in.
See you later, dude.
Bye.
Like, what are you
Bye,
doing?
dude.
Bye, dude.
On in here.
Bye, dudes.
Dude.
Bye, dudes.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Okay, Can you close the door when you go, please?
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you again.
See you in a bit.
Usually after you say bye, then you start moving.
Right.
Okay. Like I said, kids change everything.
Yeah, I'll know all about that pretty soon.
It's coming.
It's coming in hot.
Ryan is 3 months.
I'm not, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
The
Back
carrier.
into the spaceship.
plateaus.
Plateaus, yes. I mean, so
I guess does it resonate that it's a plateau, or is it more of like just like this, like a change in a shift in like a direction, or because maybe it's not even a plateau, maybe it's like just.
I feel for me that there's a shift, and I'm actually fearful of looking at it, if I'm really honest, because I was saying to Gabriel, we were driving to mountain biking. Gabriel's my little 12-year-old. And I think we saw a homeless person. And I said, you know, when I used to work with homeless people in Toronto, one of the guys I met had like a very successful business, a big house, a family, the whole bit. And it reached a point where he was just so stressed out by everything. He just walked away and became a street guy. Now, he walked away from his family, not good. Walked away from everything. But where was I going with that?
Change in the fear of like, what's this new?
Right. And then I said, so then I said to Gabe, you know, sometimes when you get stuff, it's like climbing really high on a scaffolding. The higher you get, the more stuff you get, the more scared you are of falling and losing it. Mm. When you're just at the bottom, you've got nowhere to fall. So there is not that I would wish that, but there is a sense of peace and freedom, because I've been really poor. And maybe I'm selectively taking out the dark side of that. But I do remember, like, never window shopping, never buying new clothes. Like, it was just all hand-me-downs, Valley Village, soup kitchen for bread. And the stores that sold new stuff were just like, you just don't go there. And there was almost like, you know, I did some work in jails, and people get institutionalized in jails because it's just, when a lot of these inmates would get out, they would come visit, because I've been with them in jail, come there every Sunday and do a little thing with them. And they would come and visit, and you could just see the overwhelm. I know I got to get a cell phone, and I got to find a place to live. And in jail, it's just like I get told where to go. And there's something, and a lot of the guys will reoffend to get back in there. Even subconsciously, they do it because they're institutionalized. There's a sense of like peace in there, because the endless opportunity that we have can be really like it's just too much, you know, overwhelming. And then I feel like this fear is based on, but I can't walk away from such and such, or I can't not do so. I got to pay a mortgage. Mm-hmm. I got to do this. I got to pay for all the stuff that I've got now. Mm-hmm. I got to keep it maintained. Yeah. And so I'm afraid to because Adam called me the other day and he said, hey man, I went to see this bathroom in Fanny Bay or something. And,
kitchen,
sorry. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm not feeling it. You know, and I could tell by what he was going to say was like, do you want the job? Right. And as I'm listening to him talking, I'm just like, there is no fire in me. Mm. It's just like, everything inside me wants to say, fuck no.
So here's the question is like, is it survival mode that's driving that? Or is it the actual, desire to do the thing? So where can those things join forces in a healthy way, I guess?
Well, for me, I think, because I've been running Little Star, my construction business, for almost 20 years. It's been fraught with good times and very, very bad times. And the shine I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm not excited. I'm really honest. I have to drum up the excitement. And I think for me, with my company specifically, is I liked building the business, not necessarily building the kitchen. I like building the brand. That really turned me on. I used to listen to podcasts about it and CDs about it and all this stuff. And that, for me, was what was exciting. The work was like this fringe thing that obviously you had to do. Mm-hmm. The real excitement came from building a brand. And
and the brand's built. And
I mean, it's not highly successful, but I don't know. I've plateaued for sure. Yeah. I'm like, if I'm really honest, it freaks the shit out of me doing anything different.
So there's a comfort in being in that place because it's security type. It's guaranteed. It's familiar. So that's could be a segue into the, like for me, I can relate because putting my tool belt on is like this, okay, basic needs are going to be met every day. If I put my tool belt on, I know that it's comfortable. It's familiar. We can generate revenue of some kind with that. But, all these other means of, providing for the marketplace something of value, it's like, well, it's kind of a little bit scary because it's like, is it going to be 6 months from now that I might see a return on that time spent? And then you take a month to do the thing, and then that's a month behind whatever else you got goal wise, financially. And
yeah,
it's an interesting,
kind of keeps you from achieving those kind of new goals that you're desiring or maybe potentially interested in.
For sure.
Just going back to the easy.
Just going back to the easy route.
Like we've been talking for a couple of years on and off about different ideas. And I'm just like, I hear this voice in my head singing, you're going to have to jump out of the boat, Sonny. And it ain't going to be like a silver plate, like a placed in front of you. It's going to be, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, all of the success stories we hear about are like, I mean, when I look at any product that's like outside of the box, like that took, like a successful product took, probably a lot of heartache.
Yeah. But there's so much craving and restlessness too. Like we started that idea jam, mastermind jam, and there was just people wanted to flock to that kind of, because I think there's so many people in the same boat that feeling the same way. So, what does that mean for it? Like, so there's this restlessness of our time that's like insatiable. Or maybe we do find, maybe it is just like this new momentum to get into something that's more meaningful rather than like driven by necessity.
Like Tony Robbins, love him or hate him, I can take him in very small doses, but he talks about his whole push now is like having a life of meaning, because that will get you up in the morning. And that to me is like that's the holy grail. I mean, having a family, building a good solid family is a meaningful exploit. Being a good father, good husband. But I think men were made for something more too.
Yeah. We're warriors. I mean, we would fight to the death.
I know. There's something like I try to tell my wife about there's something in guys that like maybe it's just testosterone. But when you see guys in World War II movies and they're in the trenches and the odds are so stacked against them, and their families aren't there, their kids aren't there, their wives aren't there, and they're just like, fuck it, let's go for it. Like most women would be like, this is a bad idea. I'm not going up. You going up and I'm not going up. Let's go back here. But guys have this like kamikaze, something that snaps in, like the adventure, which is what Jordan Peterson talks about, right? He's like, you're a dead man walking if you're not chasing after that adventure. Like we're called. And I think that's what's happening is we're being called to a life of adventure, but we're at the fence of everything we know is secure, and everything over there we know is going to be good for us, but it's scary as fuck because it's like uncharted lands. All right, podcast over. Figure it out.
But the camaraderie of this ideas group we had was also, I mean, it turned out to be that a lot of our guys that we in our outer circles we were all starting to form on a bi-weekly or whatever it was, and I think that almost felt like a team camaraderie, like a sports team getting together, and we kind of have our jam and then ideas and then little sticky notes flying around and see what literally sticks, like and what people want to grab hold of. But I think there was a lot of chemistry with a group. And almost to the point of like an accountability piece, like you say you've got this idea and you're willing to share it aloud, first of all, and not try to hold it so you can kind of keep it to yourself and someone's, there's no whatever non-disclosure agreement or whatever they call, like a confidentiality agreement. Right. It's like, okay, I'm just going to share it. Somebody else might decide in a month to run with this idea, but making it known to your peers and sharing it aloud almost kind of gives it legs. Like it makes it more okay, like now that I've actually shared this, is it going to start to take off in some way because I'm kind of indirectly accountable to do something now because I've shared it. So that's a thing worth inquiring about too. and some things have taken off
from that group.
Yeah.
What have?
Well, the particular project that I'm currently working on was spawned from some of the, the small dwelling backyard suites kind of conversation that we were having about, the change in bylaws that have allowed all these little suites to be built in backyards without any development permits and stuff. And it's like, oh, that's tangible. It's bite-sized. And then, maybe without having shared that aloud, that interest in wanting to do something like that, perhaps the outer universe, now has delivered manifested it.
Yeah.
So that's, I
There's
guess,
something there, right? Like there's something when you put it out. Sometimes when it does come, you forget you put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that we've spoke on quite a bit, like these pods, dwellings, kind of cabins.
Yeah.
It seems like there's been a theme.
And we've all been working on
one way or another.
Something like that in our individual endeavors. So at some point we'll be collabing on something pretty.
Yeah.
Well, what is that? At some point, out there somewhere.
Yeah, there's kind of like this tension with, it feels slightly irresponsible, Like if you just balls up and say, fuck it, all right, I'm just shutting my business down. I'm going for this thing. I want to make, I don't know, candy-flavored nail polish. And we're going to turn the shed into a apothecary and we're just going to go for it. And it's like, yeah, mortgage comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that all of a sudden it gets real.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you shouldn't be foolish, but
so where's that buffer, I guess, is like, okay, at what point is it, where's the like in terms of security, like where is that? It's like some people who invest, they'll say, well, I've got this much money that I'm willing to lose, so I'll invest it in a semi-high risk, whatever, or high risk investment. So investing in yourself by doing a new business idea, it's like, okay, well, there's 6 months worth of payments, mortgage payments in the reserve account. Let's go dabble and see what sticks. So that's also kind of a key piece to the thing,
Yeah.
Tolerance for risk.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Like
what level that is. You can go mortgage your house, remortgage it for.
People do though, right?
For an idea.
I mean, if you've seen some of these like entrepreneur movies like that, it gets really crazy before it gets great.
Yeah.
Like they are like loaning everything, and then all of a sudden it happens. But it also, you don't hear about the ones that don't happen.
Yeah.
Like I tried to make a go of it in music. I gave it a good 7 years of hard slogging and investment of finance and time. And it was a great time, but we didn't make it. And people were, they were like, your music sounds great. It should be in big arenas. But I'm like, but it's not, and then you'd see some bands make it that were like, what?
Yeah.
It just wasn't meant to be.
And how do you know when to call it, right? How do you know when to sort of just go, okay, that had its time and we're going on to something else. Like how do we know? That's an interesting one, right? How do you know when to drop it, throw in the towel kind of thing, Okay.
I mean, for me with music, it was like, I could see it wasn't going to happen. I was like, okay, Hera got pregnant. So that was child number 3. I was, getting older, and it's a young man's game because we were writing pop music. It wasn't like indie crazy cool music that you could just be any old age and make it. And I saw all these jaded musicians. I'm like, I don't want to be that. And so I was like, I just let it burn out, and I didn't get jaded and close the chapter. I felt like I closed it on a high instead of closing it like right down in the. Yeah. But I feel like it's like this frustration because we just seem to, I just seem to just talk myself into the same dead end of still feeling not satisfied. And I'm just like, what is that itch though? Like what is going on?
Yeah. And would anything actually relieve it? Even if you were, ripping it up with some project.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it has in the past. Like,
yeah,
it's a rush.
I feel like it needs to, I'm like a ship without a compass.
Hmm.
And that's how I feel. Like when I had like little star, it was like I had this North Star. It was like, that's where you're heading. And it was like all I thought about, all I talked about, all I like, it was like, and it was exciting. And when I don't have that.
So here's another question that I've been inquiring about, because I have a lot of half-finished stuff and like things going on in my, outer, maybe in inner, but like a lot of projects that are
Open tabs.
So with having so many of those open tabs, this is an inquiry that I'm, every time I finish one, do I just start another one and have yet another open tab, or do I finish all 6 things before I even open another tab? And does that numb the effectiveness of, our ability to pursue the actual thing? Because we've got all these open tabs. It's all distraction of some kind from something potentially bigger. But we as in a person, myself in this example, I'm like, well, but I've got to finish this stuff.
You moved. Don't breathe.
That's quite the rumble.
Yeah.
It's like I'm holding my breath for an hour.
Yeah. So like,
tabs,
that feeling of like, like so many like monkey-minded distractions, can that numb the ability to write the one vision, the one goal? Like how can we get so narrowly focused or hyper-focused on one thing when, there's 6 or 8 other things that they're all important in some way. Like, you can weight them with their importance, but at what point is it like, do we close all 6 tabs before we start the big 7, right? Like here's the, so it's an interesting question I'm asking myself, because I feel like I've got a lot of open tabs that, they do bring some joy. Like a lot of them bring joy in some way, like repairing a woodshed is actually kind of joyful. I don't know why, but it is. But until I have that to a certain point and I'm content with it, then I can't fully give myself to something like it.
Do you find those open tabs wear on you? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like I've got fucking 500 of them on the farm, man.
Lots of this.
And I don't like unfinished work. Like this railing is the last piece on my house, right? And I've been staring at it and I've been walking past it. And to get started on it, because I built the house all the way up to the railings, then walked away because I couldn't get the wood or something. And to get restarted into it, oh man, it took a lot. But now I'm just like, I can see the end of this tab. It's like the tab of finishing the railing, and I'm just like focused on it. Get that. Because there's a sense of relief, but I'm asking myself, will you ever be done? Like, I feel like the carrot that dangles in front of me is like, once all those tabs are closed, then you can chill out, man. Like,
once you have this much money, you can chill out a bit.
Probably. Yeah, I haven't thought
But
of
then your lifestyle creep says otherwise. It's like, actually.
Once you got a 30-foot yacht, you'll be happy. But then you see a 40-foot yacht and you go, that's pretty hot. Yeah, I know in my knower that's what it is, but I am weak. I'm like an alcoholic that's weak and can't quit. And I keep driving towards closing all of these tabs. Like when you meet locals around this area, they're like, yeah, it'll never be done, bro. Like the weeds will just come back.
Yeah, especially with owning homesteads like you guys. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about those tabs is like that 7th tab that you're talking about is just a whole bunch more open tabs. So it's just like you close those 6, that 7th one has like 6 other ones in them.
Yeah.
So it's just they just keep on. I mean, I guess we have a certain capacity for how many tabs that are open in our periphery. Yeah, so maybe that is too much at some point. You just kind of go against that boundary of like, okay, of overwhelm, and then like, okay, let's winnow it down to a little bit and just let some of the things, some of them actually go or complete them.
And then again, there's the Joby, you've been doing this big renovation to your house, and it's a lot to take on. and the day that it's done, you're out on the back porch drinking your coffee, and you're like,
am I though?
What's does it give you that sense of relief, or is it like, okay, now
the horizon,
it's the journey, the whole thing about it's the journey, not the destination. In a way, that's well, in a lot of ways, that's true. It is that, like, building your business from scratch. That was the grit, the scrappiness that you had to climb and do all the things. And then once that kind of smooths out, then it's like, oh yeah, that's okay. What's, where can I repeat this in another way and get that rush again or whatever?
Yeah, I don't think I know how to exist in the peaceful, the grit and the scrappiness is where I thrive. And I don't quite understand, like, me and Brant were working on the house one day, and we're the same, right? He's a lot like this, and he's like, Joey, let's just stand back and take a look at what we just did. Let's just look at it. Okay, that's done. It was like to do that. And, I was listening to this podcast that's like kind of a therapy. Like they took this one guy and they were doing therapy with him, and then they kind of critiquing it afterwards. And the guy's like, I don't know how to celebrate my wins. I never celebrate my victories. And I was like, oh man, I can totally relate to that. I just, it's almost like this slave driver just pushing me on. And that's a personal struggle, I guess, that, but I feel like, you were saying with the open tabs, and you open up, you get the seventh one, it opens up more. Like right now, right here, I feel a sense of peace, right? Because this is kind of new and exciting in a way. I mean, it's just a podcast, and I don't know who's listening, but I feel like I'm craving to do something with meaning with other people. Like I'm craving that, like, team spirit. I felt that with the band, because it was like 4 of us. We were like the 4 Musketeers, like going out into the middle of nowhere to play a show for sometimes no one, and together we rose, together we fell. Like, it was this tough times, but it was like, and like I talked to my drummer, he's like, man, I miss those days. We were all for one for all, like just all in. And I've never felt that since then. I'm just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, we're in the this individualist, independent phase, I think, especially in kind of our trade. It's like you kind of build your thing, you build your business. It's like yours. There's other people that work with you, but
don't come into my my land.
Yeah. So it's harder to find that in specifically, I don't know, maybe there's other people that work in this industry that find that, but I don't know, I found it to be a bit more independent.
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, I've met contractors that are very successful in Vancouver, and they're not the same as me. Like, they're just driven by money.
Yeah.
Money and success. And I never built Little Star for the money. I mean, I needed the money, but to me, that's never been a motivator. You don't do music for money. You hope one day you might make $100 a show or whatever it is, right?
Get your food covered.
Yeah. But so money has never been a big driver for me, but, I feel like a life of meaning is what the call is, like, just, I mean, when I was working with homeless people or First Nations people, I was making no money at all, broke, but I felt, and I've talked about this before, I felt so much, I was like, there's no other place I would rather be than walking up this dirt road with this First Nations person that just was about to take her life, and now we're just talking about whatever. And I was like, I don't need to be anywhere else. I don't, you know what I mean? And I think there's something that, like, if we had this, say we had this dream for, like, we had this podcast, so say we've been doing this, like, this is number 200, and we've got like 100,000 people that say, every time I listen to your podcast, it uplifts me. Like, I can feel what that would feel like, man. I would have spark. You?
Yeah, probably. I have no idea. It'd be kind of abstract. Because
they're not in front of us.
Yeah, they're not here.
Is that true?
Is it real? Is it?
Oh, I'd feel a connection. Like, if you had like thousands of people, like, mailing you saying, thanks so much for what you share, whatever. that for me would feel,
Yeah.
For myself anyway, I think I would be jazzed about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the traction comes too. Like, it's like the idea of pursuing this, for more meaning. And then you get 2 people comment and they say, since watching or listening to your podcast, I've gone and made this big shift or some change that has affected a ripple effect in my whole life. And it's like, oh, then that post inspires another person.
Yep.
And that has its own ripple effect. It's not even like they even needed to listen to the podcast. They had, I guess it's like osmosis almost, like they've become inspired, secondhand inspiration or something like that. And I find I get that in the creative realm as well, when people are, simple things, the people are happy with, something I've done that's simple, like repairing a skylight for an older lady. And, it's like those are the things that, the basic needs, the house, the shelter, right, the food, the whole thing. That's one of the basic needs. You're not getting dripped on in your own house. Like, what a simple thing, but to be able to find joy in those simple moments, it's like, that's another, why does it have to be grandiose? Maybe because so much of, what we're seeing through, our media feeds and stuff is like, we seem to think that it's only meaningful if it's big or on air or whatever. But can we get up, start our truck in the morning, repair, Margaret's skylight, and then come home and go, yeah, you know what? That was a good day's work. Like, took it out, rebuilt it, put it back together, no more drips, right? That's
do you think
big wins for the day. Right?
Do you think if that was your life, you'd feel fulfilled?
Well, here we are, right?
So, really though.
I mean, in a way, it is kind of a lot of what I do in my, personal day is, solve problems and fix things and improve things and make nice spaces for people to exist in. But you're right. It's like, I just know I want more because I know I'm capable of more. It's like, can I push it, to something else? What's next? How far can it be? But I hold myself back at times for sure in that way. Like, no, this is
reason your way out of it.
Yeah. I don't want the stress. That's usually a hindrance to my pursuing of bigger things. I just know I don't like to be in that, anxious, stressy kind of way of living, and it holds me back.
So you used to have a much more stressful life, right? You used to own a house and you just recoiled from that and built something. Yeah.
It was full on. Like, in a way I was just like, okay, what can I, there's times where I had so many things that I was engaged in some way that I had to, consciously drop like 3 out of the 7 tabs, like, and just drop them just because it was like, no, and it's a very privileged thing to be able to say that, there's too many opportunities that, it's like, wow, like we've got options to create and to see, help and see value from things. And, but the real reality is there is some nervous systems that do well under that pressure, or maybe the adrenaline just keeps people moved. Yeah. On a personal note, I like to have a balance. I like to feel, like I can wake up and go to bed with a balanced nervous system and not super high. Even though the accolade or the end result is showing success, but does it feel successful when I'm kind of, I haven't even
craving the next thing.
Yeah, I haven't even caught, like, how's my breathing right now? I even taken a full breath, right? Since I woke up this morning, because I'm just knocking things off the list all day, right? And it's like, so I don't know. It's a lifestyle thing.
So
too.
you created a new life,
right?
Purposefully,
like
moving with Adam,
totally. Yeah, that was
and
by far the biggest turning point I've experienced in my life, was a contrast to this high octane, full full on kind of, management role at a company and the house thing and renovating and all these sort of a little more externalized kind of things. And then, things were moving in a different direction. And I asked Adam, hey, could I crash in the back of my pickup truck in the back 40-acre bush here? I'm going through a bit of a time in life right now where I need to get away from it all. And he's like, well, the crazy whimsical house that has been
Hobbit
House is, the dome is going to be unoccupied in a month if you can crash there for a bit. And that was almost 3 years ago. Yeah.
My girlfriend's moved in.
Yeah, she's my lady, and we're having a baby, and it's like we're living in the woods. And
do you feel like when you A/B yourself then and now, you're just a much more grounded,
totally,
calm? Yeah,
and I've got people that I've been close with throughout my previous chapter there, and they know, they're just like, dude, you're just more balanced. You're more, I think it's all the green back there. The ferns are taller than me back there. Like, it's just so literally grounded.
Every time I'm overwhelmed, I just go for a walk in the forest, and it's just like,
totally.
Especially this time of year, it's just like, it's like a jungle. Like, it feels like I'm transported into another just kind of land.
Yeah.
It's
so good.
lush.
Yeah.
So nice. And just, it's definitely something that just.
Yeah. When I drive back there, no matter what the day was like, I go through the back gate there and enter the forest. Yeah. I feel a total, just a sense of, okay, now this is my, happy, wild woodsy kind of, what are my cats doing right now? And then we'll check up on my cats, my ferns.
Sounds amazing.
The big fir, right? Like the 60-foot fir tree and the 80-foot fir tree, and I'm in between two firs, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And we're going to be building a couple more cabins down there. People that only you can experience this beautiful, relaxing time for only $1,000
a night, a minute.
But they're suspended from a tree, and it'll be the only experience you'll ever have like that. Get yours now, 30% off.
Yeah.
With this coupon code.
Yeah, you strike me as whenever you're around and I bump into you, it's like you're just like 3 or 4 gears back than where I am vibrating at, and I'm like, oh man, that looks like a sweet spot to be. Yeah, I'm in third gear screaming up the road. Well, and you're in fifth.
Between the two of you got 7 kids, almost 8 now. Like, that's a different ringtone in your day to so when my first Bam Bam pops out, it'll be kind of like, all right,
we won't be hearing from you very much.
It's on. Just go into hiding, and
you just get used to the new norm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like guys that go to war. I mean, after a while, it's just like, wake up every day and bullets flying over my head, and you just drink your coffee, and
the thing is, with kids, I could actually take a lesson from you more so than to actually start taking more time, taking more space would be beneficial for them, because it would mean I'm more present for them and not so driven and always preoccupied with my thoughts and my desires for this, what can I work on now? What is because that preoccupies my mind so much that it's hard. It's really hard for me to be present.
Yeah, I hear you.
Even though I enjoy the time that I spend with them, and I'm always thinking about I'm always mulling over the next project or.
Yeah. And there's this, I can really relate to this. What's talked about a lot on the Modern Wisdom podcast that I listen to is this optimization addiction. Mm-hmm. Even when I go for a walk in the forest.
Right. Yeah. Can I do 10 push-ups on my walk? Because
yeah.
Got to get some strength training.
If I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, literally. Yeah. While I'm waiting for it to boil, I do push-ups. Because, God help me, I'm not going to watch the kettle boil. God forbid.
When I catch up with family back on the other side of Canada, it's like I have my headphone pods on talking to them, but I just can't help but do something else while I'm talking. I have to fill up the weed whacker with gas, or, you know, make do something productive while I'm talking. I can't just sit on a chair and just have, like, I can, and I have,
but you're itching inside.
Most of the time I'm like, I could really double end this one, right? And I'm getting two things done, but is either one of them actually effectively, you know, is that person getting all of me? No. Like, they're getting most of me, unless I'm doing, you know, long division while I'm talking to them. They're not getting much of me, but I'm, you know, doing dishes, right? Then they're getting most of me, but can I just give them all of me? Yes, but it's the optimization.
You have to give me some gummies first.
Yeah, give me some gummies.
And then you'll get all
high strength. Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to Abigail on yesterday about something, the same sort of thing. It's always coming up in conversation. And she's just saying, like, another perspective, like we so go after beating ourselves up. It's just another thing to add to the tab list, right? Like, beat yourself down for how creative you are, you know. So to balance that of, like, yeah, I want to be more present. I've been listening to this guy who does, you know, kind of therapy and stuff, and when he's talking to these other folks, he's like, stop, like, just kind of that stuff we have in men's group where it's like, welcome the like, instead of like
messy,
like, I find myself constantly mad at myself. Like, this quality, which some people look at as a total quality, because without people like you and you, we wouldn't have bridges or cars or lights, or we would still be living in a cave. And so to balance that out, I'm like, you know, if your kid sees you always creating, they're actually going to grow. Like, the thing that you hate about yourself is the thing that is actually endearing to you, I think, to your children. Like, oh yeah, dad's like Raven, my oldest son, he can make me laugh like no other, but he mimics me, right? He's like, he'll just be like, oh yeah, dad's like, all of a sudden he's on the phone and he's got a screwdriver out and he's like, I'm doing the thing. And I'm like laughing. And he's laughing, and he's like, but that's my dad. You know, and then you've got the other dad who's just bag of chips, sitting down, let's play video games, son, all Saturday. And so we look at that and think, that's a dad. He's like locking in with his son, playing video games. You know, and I also hear this voice about, like, be kinder to yourself. Because I find my go-to is to beat the shit out of myself. You could be a better this, a better that.
Comparisonitis kicks in, right? It's like, oh, you know, there's somebody's doing it bigger. I want to, you know, I could probably do that too. Or like, it's
instead of like, well, that's them, and you are you, and yeah, you can always temper your extremes, right? Like, you know, you do have to drop the tools and go tuck the kids in at bed, you know.
Yeah.
But I also think that if you were like Joe Blogs next door, then you wouldn't be you. Like you are. Those things are actually massive shining qualities that your kids will remember.
Yeah,
I think, like, because you make an effort. Like, I don't think the unknowing is where the problem is, where you don't realize you have maybe a slight tendency to overcreate, but just knowing it. Making the effort to go to the river with your kids, even though the whole time you're thinking about that thing you have is half built.
Yeah, I think, I mean,
because the kids aren't inside here.
I think it's just, it's not a deficiency. I think it's just sometimes and
I hear you.
It really depends too. Like, it depends where I'm at. Like, in terms of a number of things. But sometimes I get pretty. Like, just fully, like, all-encompassing
obsession.
So, and in those states, it's usually like, it's not even my most productive. It's not even my most productive time. It's when I'm like, if there's almost this franticness to
in flow.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I need to find. Let's say it's like I may be more in that. Like, I need to find something. I'm like grasping, like, oh, this I can maybe do this for. Like this thing or that thing, and I'm not as focused. So in that state, I definitely feel like I'm a little bit more like grasping for straws, for ideas, for something to drive myself towards. And in that, I can lose sense of presence and just not appreciate where I'm actually at as much as I would like to. Really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one thing that comes to my mind with that as well is like starting something that, like to be doing it well right out of the gate is like the perfectionist thing. If it's gonna fly, like doing the podcast, like for the first time, you're number one, it's got to be done well. It's got to be, the first everything, to do something like that. That's a vulnerable thing for me. It's to say I like to feel like I've failed, but it's the actual thing that needs to happen in order to keep going and excel, right? And I've failed lots, but I know it holds me back when it comes to like the topic of creative endeavors. It's like, got to do it right, or why bother, and that's hard. I'm hard on myself in that way. It's not even so much the outside world looking in. It's like I'm just like, yeah, it holds me back for sure. That just came to my mind in its own way there, but.
I think I gotta probably duck out and put
the kids down.
Little guy to bed.
Yeah.
June.
Good chatting with you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if
How much should we clock there?
We got just over an hour.
Cool.
If you guys want to just keep going, or
want to have a grand summary, or do you want to chinwag for a few more minutes? Or...
I don't mind.
We could always pick it up at some other point.
Yeah, it's an open tab.
Yeah.
Open tab. There's a
part 2.
Maybe that's the podcast.
Maybe that is the podcast. Tab. Yeah. Between the open tab between two fir trees, between the two firs. Yeah.
There's a show called Between Two Ferns, right?
Ferns?
Yeah. It's a comedy on.
Tom was just talking about this yesterday.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. It's that one comedian who
Snaffalafagak or
he lives right out. Yeah, he lives on Hornby Island, or has a place there at least.
Yeah, he just deprecates like these super famous people, like Matthew McConaughey's like. So you do know that people only watch you because of your pecs, right? Like you're not a good actor.
I think I've seen a few clips.
And Matthew McConaughey's just like. Oh, I'm getting really angry.
You gotta be good. You gotta be sharp to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like
he's on
that,
it.
right?
Like, he's on it. He's done like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Turns her into nothing. Like it's great.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna leave it there, but I'll be. You guys, if you want to.
He's doing the right thing, putting his kids to bed.
Yeah.
Actually, he fears the wrath of his wife. See you, buddy.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it?
Sure, we could.
Or do you want to chinwag some more? What time is it? 10 to 9.
Suffering from a case of tendonitis. Tendonitis.
Slow on the uptake.
Yeah, this is I binge listened to so many cool podcasts, but I've never been with the headphones on and kind of chumming with my bros, having a little.
It's weird,
chin
right?
wag
it takes a little bit to...
On topics we would talk about anyways. Like
Yeah. I mean, there's like that voice in your head. It's like, well, what are you doing this on the mic for, you idiot? Just like talk.
Yeah.
But...
The techie stuff kind of distracts me a bit with all the gadgets and all the things. And it's like, and then I get sort of into this cool topic or listening to you guys, share something from the past. I'm like, oh, I forget that I'm even got these big earmuffs on and all the things, right?
I find that I've done it without them, and I find this really locks me in. It's like I can't hear anything
like a
else.
portal, eh?
And you're just like in with whoever.
Well, maybe our next steps is to put these headphones on when it comes crunch time to focus on something. When we find like we got too many open tabs, this is the medicine to those open tabs, and put the headphones on and start closing tabs.
Yeah.
The headphones are symbolic for like focus and get and finish something.
Yeah.
Finish a tab.
A work tab.
I mean, it would be a bit ridiculous to wear these all the time.
Around the farm.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. How's it feel with the baby coming? Like really feel? Are you just like so stoked? You've been waiting so long.
Yeah. It's been definitely at 40 now, an intentional journey. Like this last stretch of, anticipation for sure. And just trusting, trusting the process, that it's At 40, you know, we're both later in that.
How old's Larissa?
38.
Okay.
Yeah. And so later in
life,
it's like, yeah, all our parts are working just fine, right? It's like trust that that, you know, we can do this, and it's now we're starting to share it with the broader community. And
is Larissa just like glowing?
Oh yeah, she is.
Just thinking all things baby.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Before you have kids, you go to a park and you notice kids, and you don't. And it's like when you realize you're having a kid, it's like when you buy a car, like your Toyota. You know, you see everyone that's driving one.
Totally.
You're like, and now you see everyone with kids.
Now I'm going to see everyone who's got earmuffs on walking down the street, pods and headphones, whatever we call these. Yeah. It's a nice feeling. It's a journey that it's going to be interesting.
Do you think you're going to stay in the Hobbit house in the sky?
Yep. Yeah, we don't have intentions at the moment to up and, you know, do anything. We're, you know, it's going to be a nature immersion opportunity for a little Tarzan to kind of swing from some of these big furs, right? We'll see.
And you've got that big playroom that you can make in the summer.
I know. Yeah, we've got an observatory, and we've had a lot of black bear this spring action, like immediately outside of our place.
Wow.
So it's been awesome. Like at dinner we'll see. We saw 3 black bear, a male rush a mom and a cub up a tree, like right outside our door, and the mom and the cub were 50, 60 feet up there in this big fir tree waiting for this male to. He could only get so high. They don't climb it. They can't climb as high. Right. We looked it up, and the male wants to kill the cub because he wants to make mom he wants mom to be available again.
So he makes the baby, kills the baby so he can make another baby, and then kill the baby and make another baby.
It's hard to say whether that male's the one who, if that's his offspring or not. I don't know, but you know, according to our friend ChatGPT, that's what happens. They will off a cub to make mom available again. There's a term for it. I can't remember the term.
Takes horny to a whole new level.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you look pretty nice. I'm just gonna kill your kid.
Yeah.
So we can get in the sack.
It's one thing to have a lot of environmental things that are bringing some of these populations down, like you know, species at risk kind of thing, and then their own species taking themselves out is a whole other thing, right?
Well, we're noticing that on the farm because Tara's a real animal lover, and I grew up farming in England, so I have this kind of like, I don't know if it's a healthy separation, but an animal's an animal, and you know, I we just when you sheep farm and cattle farm, you have this kind of like thing, right? It's like you're an animal, you're not like a human, and so. Yeah, just watching nature, how harsh nature is.
Oh yeah, like
we've been getting chickens taken out by the crows.
Oh wow!
And they just want the protein in the brain, so they only take the head.
Unreal.
And leave the whole rest of the chicken. And last year we found 6 headless rabbits on the property. So I honestly thought there's some ritualistic, like someone doesn't want us here, like. Headless rabbits lying in the middle of nowhere. And now I realize what it was. The crows were taking them, eating their head, just leave the body.
Wow.
Whereas an eagle would take the whole thing. And it's like, you know, like today I was podcasting, or yesterday I was podcasting with Abigail, and I heard this noise outside, and it's Tara shooing the cat away because the cat was batting around a little baby bunny rabbit.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's like,
they do that. Ours do that with the mice.
Yeah,
or birds. They'll they'll literally paw it to death.
Yeah,
and not even eat it. They'll just they'll be like, oh sweet, that was fun, you know, a little afternoon kind of, you know. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, there's some pretty nasty humans out there too, but you know,
I've seen
not in our nature to do this.
I think it was a grizzly had a stag or something and was just eating it. While it was still like eating it from the legs while it's still alive, like, you know, they just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't.
Gruesome. There's no empathy, right?
Yeah, living in the moment. That's what needs to happen right now. They're not thinking about the why or the what. It's like, no, we're doing this.
I think that humans can go that way pretty damn quickly if it's apocalyptic.
I know.
Like, I think it wouldn't take long for mine,
yeah, yeah. When economics is in a healthy place, when our economy is,
it's like a balance, like fragile.
People can, have some peace. But when there's scarcity taking place, then it becomes a free for all, and the nice person down the road's not so nice anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching this because I was couch ridden for 10 days there, and I started watching this Argentinian movie, this apocalyptic movie, and it was all subtitles, but it had enough in it to grab me, because usually when it's not subtitled, it's overdubbed. Usually I just don't have the patience to watch that. And it was so realistic. Like, there was this kind of like snow that was falling from the sky, and the snow was toxic. So as soon as it touched you, you'd die. So the people that were inside were okay. And then some people figured it out and they're like, don't open the window. And a gas mask was like $1 million. So if someone saw you with a gas mask, they're coming for you, and so that was the new currency.
Wow.
And so this kind of like this little neighborhood in Argentina suddenly was like very quickly degenerated into, every man for himself.
Wow.
Gotta
wonder the person who came up with this, Argentinian, setting, something that falls from the sky that it's an interesting, like, one day you're sitting there going, I'm going to make a movie about this and follow through with it. Yeah, that's trippy.
I think a lot of these movie writers are like, dude, they must do like mushrooms and stuff. Like, like Stephen King. I mean, he's written some crazy wild stuff. Like, their head must be chaos.
Yeah. I can't say I've watched enough movies or, read enough in my life to spin all these topics the way, like, to come up with fresh material like this, the way some of them do. It's like, I'd be way out of material by, Stephen King's third book. It's like, hey, now, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that some of these movie writers are like prophets. I think that a lot of them tell the future in a medium that's like very cryptic and clever. Like we were listening to OK Computer today on the Radiohead's one of the Radiohead's biggest albums, and there's this one little part where there's a song and it's just a and I think that's like 20 years old or something, and it's this robot voice, and it's like, be more productive, take your garbage up when you're done for it. It's like it's like a whole song. It's just this robot talking, but it's all about control and like AI kind of stuff. But it was like 20 years ago, right? And some of the stuff I was listening to, I'm like, be kind to the person, to your neighbor, like all this controlling kind of like social credit type of stuff. I'm like, they were ahead of their time. Like they were prophesying what was coming in a way. Whereas and same with some of these movie writers, I think that they're
they know before the masses know, or not know, but have a bit of an instinct to make it, turn it into something that could happen, but
and they can wrap it in a way that some people will get it and some people won't. Like Avatar, it's an amazing spectacle to watch, but really the messaging in there is, pretty strong.
Totally. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. So, meaning in life, meaning in our day's work?
Have we reached a conclusion?
Have we reached the meaning in our day's work?
If we had, I think I would be running out of here screaming in excitement. I think I'm still in the battle.
Yeah. I listened to Dry Creek Wrangler his name is Dwayne. He does a podcast, and I think he's moved into Wyoming, I believe, and he has like a wrangling school, horse wrangling, and all that.
Oh, I think I've seen him on Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was on Joe Rogan at one point. I'm pretty sure
he's an old cowboy.
Yeah. He's been interviewed quite a bit now by some. I hadn't seen him on Joe Rogan, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's likely you have the same guy that I'm thinking of. But he was talking about this more blue collar type, an honest day's work, dirt under the fingernail. Mm-hmm. You go to bed tired, and wake up to do it over again, so that people have the asphalt potholes filled. People have a house built. People have their cars are fixed so they can get the kids to school. There's mechanics. There's all the trades. And just kind of that's built where we are now as our civilization has been built by the mundane tasks of a somebody like a tradesperson, for instance. And it was an excellent. He did a poem. He read a poem about a blacksmith who's small town guy who shows up. He owes nobody anything. He's hitting the iron all day long, and he goes to bed tired with a softness in his heart, an honest day's work, a wholesome feeling. And it was 20-minute short that he did on this, and I shared it with Adam, and I thought I shared it with you, but obviously I haven't. Nope. And I'll share it with you. But it's just a nice bite-sized reminder that it's not about the bigger glorious thing. It's about those, but can fixing Margaret Skylight have that appeal day after day after day? So
I think in days gone by, when we lived in villages and there wasn't social media, and the only options for a wife was the 10 girls that were in your village, and that's it.
Right.
And the only job opportunities are either the mill or the farm or the blacksmith. I think that I think life was better.
You wouldn't know if the grass was greener on the other side.
No, but now we're bombarded by, day and night by if you have a jet ski, you're going to be happier.
Only when you get a jet ski are you going to be.
Yeah, because that dude there looks really fucking happy.
Yeah.
And he's got the hot girl.
Yeah.
And it's just pummeling us day and night. Marketing, right? It's all just marketing.
I do find, on that note, when I'm less engaged with media sources, I'm sitting with a softer heart. I'm just like, you know what? There's no comparing here to what I don't have or what I need to do better. What is on the other side of, all the things, having all the things. Well, I don't know. The minimalist version of a day is very calming. Even the thought of, for like, only having, say, black V-neck t-shirts. I got a 10-pack of V-necks, all the same. I'm not, burdened by what am I going to wear today. It's like simple. It's like, I know.
Sounds very socialist.
Well, it sounds like, one bowl, one spoon, one fork, right? It's that feeling of contentment with the simple things, right?
Yeah, I mean, these were things. Comparison is the road to misery.
Yeah.
And yet I still compare. I struggle with this hunger to be great at something. And then there's the dark side of that, which is like, what are you looking for? Adulation? Are you looking for the world to notice you?
Right, recognition.
And maybe that's just a lack of, I keep coming back to this, the father's blessing, whoever that, like if your dad thought you were just 100, you were his champion. I think that can be so grounding, but when you don't have that, you're just constantly looking for just like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
And you're looking, and then you start to look for that from the world, right? But it's a tank that never gets filled. I think that if you said to most people, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million, or that's not much these days, $10 million.
That'll get you a lunch down Main Street.
Yeah. $10 million. But you're not going to be happy, and you're not going to feel fulfilled. Most of us would say, yeah, give me the 10 mil, I'll roll the dice. I can figure it out. I think we're so attracted to something there. I don't know what it is. But, you know, when you talk about that blacksmith and all of that, like, I think we need to come back to a place where that's praised and applauded.
Right on.
Like Tara and I used to go to Maui a lot, and there was this old Maui builder, carpenter, that we used to stay at his house. He built the whole thing by hand, like all the windows, sash windows, all by hand. He aches and pains, like smoked huge doobies in the evening, right? And we sat on his porch one night, and his back was aching, and he goes, Joby, we got the best job in the world, being like carpenters, right? He's like, we get to make people's houses beautiful and last way long after we're dead. I don't know the exact words that he used, but I'd never heard. It just stopped me in my tracks, because I'd never heard someone, you know, push his deck chair back with a big smile on his face, with all the aches and pains of his body, and say, "Man, I'm glad I'm a carpenter." And I was like, double take.
Yeah,
because usually it's like, fuck, why did I do this? Why couldn't I
better stay in school? You know,
should have been a computer programmer, and I wouldn't have bad knees.
Yeah,
you know. I long for that inner. I think that's what we're looking for, right? It's like inner peace with where we're at. And I see some people that have it, like they work at 9 to 5. They've never moved outside of their little town. They're quite happy. They love. They got their cute little wife, and they live in a little rental condo or whatever it might be. But you can just see this like kind of satisfaction. But then you got folks like me and you, and a bit more adventure, and it's tough to kind of find peace with it when you crave. Let's go see what's over that hill.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
You know.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained kind of thing. Is that the way it's, you know, like.
Have you seen that cartoon, The Croods? It's like a caveman.
No.
It's exactly that. Like, they're living in the cave, tradition, everything's the same as it's always been for, you know. The dinosaur comes, I put the rock in front of the cave, and then the little girl is like, she's adventurous, and she just drives her dad crazy. She's like, don't go up there, you know. But
yeah, I think we're all built a little differently, and going to sleep with a softness, a deep breath, and I think that's like those simple things, like enjoying a simple but wholesome good meal, and actually tasting it, rather than being, you know, daydreaming about what's next or whatever. Like being, you know, it goes, it's the whole. Can we be present with exactly what it is that we're doing? Like, you know, I constantly find myself, in a state of distraction, or, you know, I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I put my toothbrush back, and then I'm doing a few other things, and I'm like, did I already brush my teeth? Like, I forgot that I brushed my teeth, because I was, you know, answering a message while I was brushing my teeth about the day's work or something.
Yeah, I mean, today, like, making lunch, I'm like, there's no leftovers in the house. And it's like, I have to go in the house. And it's like the worst thing. I'm like, I got to take my work shoes off and drop my tool belt. And I got to go inside and like put it back into like second gear and like look in the fridge. And I'm hating it. And I just rustle together something that's just horrible. Isn't that just what, a bit of rice? I go outside and I can't get it on my fork. So I'm just like bunching it up in my hands, throwing it in my mouth, and then carrying on banging a nail in.
Just for fuel. It's
just fuel.
Purely fuel, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like...
I get it, totally.
It's absurd.
Totally. There's times where
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, you know, maybe being a breatharian, we'd have even more time in our day to be productive if we're just living on air, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Why, God, did you make us have to go to the bathroom and eat? Like, we could do so much more.
So much more with our time.
The whole reason.
Let alone the dishes after you're done eating is cleaning the kitchen. That, you know, I got more important things to do.
Surely there was a reason, right? Like, if there is a God and He created us, He says, I'm going to make them have to poop and pee, and they're going to sleep for half their life.
Forced slowdown.
Plus, they're going to have to eat 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Dang. Because he knows that
civilization would be that much further than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat, pray, love. On that note, should we wrap her?
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah. Hearing myself swallow every couple minutes and
banging on the chair.
Having all these little, whimsical, things over the mic. But it's been interesting. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to chinwag a little bit about all the things that we endeavor to do, and some we actually do.
Yeah. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Adam's gone. The ghost of Adam.
The phantom. Yeah.
See you guys later.